Good morning, listeners of Hot Topic and Fresh News, and welcome to our news update on this 26th day of October, 2023. The major headline today is the devastating aftermath caused by Hurricane Otis in Acapulco, Mexico. The storm has left the city, once a lively resort town, in a state of chaos with widespread power outages and no internet connection. Floodwaters extending for miles have left fallen trees and power lines strewn across the city, and the local government is struggling to quantify the full extent of the damage along Mexico's Pacific coast. In the city's beachfront hotels, hundreds, perhaps thousands, of windows have been blown out, and troops deployed to the scene lack the necessary tools for cleanup. Efforts to restore electricity have been hampered by the extensive damage to infrastructure, and the residents' frustration is mounting over the lack of warning and safety measures provided by local hotels. Looting has become a significant issue in the wake of the disaster, with hundreds of people taking advantage of the widespread disorder to steal from stores. Transport links have been severely affected, with the primary highway to Mexico City only partially reopened and both the commercial and military airports too damaged to resume flights. Drone footage reveals the extent of the destruction, with large buildings partially or completely missing their roofs and walls, and most of the beachfront submerged underwater. As we move into the night, the city is plunged into darkness, and with no phone service available except for satellite phones provided by the Red Cross, communication with the outside world is limited. The Mexican president has tried to reach Acapulco by ground, but it remains unclear if he has been successful. The city, known for its nightlife and cliff diving shows, has seen a decrease in international tourism due to recent violence from competing organized crime groups. However, these new circumstances caused by Hurricane Otis, which was reportedly stronger than Hurricane Pauline that hit in 1997, present fresh challenges for Acapulco. Stay tuned to Hot Topic and Fresh News for more updates on this developing story. Welcome back to Hot Topic and Fresh News, your daily dose of the most pressing news stories. I'm your host, Emily, here in the heart of New York City. With me, as always, is our brilliant political analyst, David, joining us from sunny San Francisco.
It's great to be here, Emily. Looking forward to diving into today's news.
As always, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel, ring that notification bell, and leave us your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means everything to us and is what enables us to continue delivering the news hot off the press. Now, let's talk about something that's been making headlines worldwide. I can't believe this hurricane situation in Acapulco, Mexico. The devastation caused by Hurricane Otis is unparalleled and has left the city in sheer chaos. This is a relevant story not only for Mexico but for the global community. Natural disasters like this remind us of our collective responsibility to tackle climate change and support each other in times of crisis.
Absolutely, Emily. It's a stark reminder of the devastating repercussions of neglecting our environment.
Exactly, David. So, to all our listeners out there, stay tuned as we delve into the situation in Acapulco and much more in today's episode. Remember, we're always here to deliver the news that's hot off the press.
This situation in Acapulco is horrifying. Can you give us more details on the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Otis?
Absolutely. A day after the hurricane, the city descended into chaos. Massive floods triggered widespread looting, electricity and internet services became non-existent, and the destruction has delayed the government's response. The early images and accounts depict extensive devastation, with toppled trees and power lines submerged in floodwaters extending for miles in some areas.
And what about the residents? How are they responding to this disaster?
The lack of electricity and internet and the delay in government response have left residents desperate. And there is a widespread frustration with the authorities. While 10,000 military troops have been deployed, they lack the tools to clean up the debris from the streets, which has only added to the residents' despair.
The impact on the hotel industry must be significant as well, right?
Yes, many of the once sleek beachfront hotels now look like shattered hulks. The Category 5 storm blew out hundreds, possibly thousands, of windows, leaving the hotels looking like they'd been put through a blender.
What challenges is the government facing in restoring power to the city?
It's a monumental task. With downed electricity lines lying in feet of mud and water, the government electricity company is struggling to restore power.
You know, it's one thing to hear about these storms, but another to consider the true scope of the devastation they leave behind.
Absolutely, it's a stark reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature and the urgency and importance of addressing climate change.
It sounds like the aftermath of the hurricane is revealing more difficulties day by day. Can you tell us about the current state of Acapulco's commercial areas?
It's truly a heartbreaking scene. Many people have resorted to looting, taking everything from packs of hot dogs and toilet paper to flat-screen TVs from stores. You can see people struggling to push loaded shopping carts onto the mud-choked streets.
What's the government's response to the looting?
National Guard officers are allowing people to take perishable items like food but are making futile efforts to prevent people from taking appliances. Meanwhile, people are loading refrigerators on top of taxis right outside.
Are there any updates on the reopening of transportation links?
The main highway connecting Acapulco to Chilpancingo and Mexico City was partially reopened on Wednesday, allowing some emergency vehicles and trucks carrying supplies to reach the port city. However, Acapulco's commercial and military airports are still too damaged to resume flights.
Unbelievable. And what about the residents? Any updates on how they're faring?
The situation is dire. Many residents lost their homes and other important documents in the hurricane. They're wading through waist-deep water in some areas, while soldiers are shoveling rubble and fallen palm fronds from the less flooded streets.
It's hard to imagine. It's not just the immediate destruction, but the long-term consequences these people will have to face.
Absolutely. The recovery process will be long and difficult. This is a sobering reminder of the human toll of these natural disasters.
In these harrowing times, how are the residents managing to communicate with their families outside of Acapulco?
Communication has been extremely limited as there's no phone service. Some people have been using satellite phones loaned by the Red Cross to let their family members know they're okay.
That's a relief. And what about the city's infrastructural damage?
Drone footage has revealed that Acapulco's Diamond Zone, an area filled with hotels, restaurants, and other tourist attractions, is largely underwater. There are boulevards and bridges completely submerged under a vast lake of brown water. Large buildings have their walls and roofs partially or completely stripped off. Solar panels, cars, and debris litter the lobby of a severely damaged hotel.
This is a lot to take in.
It is. But you know, it kind of reminds me of a time when I was just starting out as a journalist. I was covering a local event, and suddenly a heavy rain began to pour. We had to pack up all our equipment in a hurry and... Oh, I'm sorry, I seem to have wandered off the topic.
No worries, it's a stressful topic. But let's get back to the situation in Acapulco.
Right, my apologies. Let's continue with the topic at hand. Nightfall brought a whole new set of challenges to the city, plunging it into darkness. The lack of phone service is making it even harder for residents to navigate these difficult conditions. In the midst of this unfolding crisis, we hear stories of survival. Alicia Galindo, a 28-year-old stylist from the central Mexican city of San Luis Potosí, received a call from her family who were staying in Acapulco's Hotel Princess. They experienced the peak of the storm between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., with windows falling, floors breaking up, and hallways collapsing. But they escaped unharmed. The sudden intensification of the storm from a tropical storm to a powerful Category 5 hurricane took everyone by surprise. Brian McNulty, a hurricane researcher at the University of Miami, describes it as a nightmare to have such a strong hurricane make landfall without any warning. Acapulco, a city at the foot of steep mountains, was hit hard along with other towns along the Costa Grande and Guerrero. This city, once a glamorous resort for Hollywood stars, has in recent years seen declining tourism due to violence. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador noted that Hurricane Otis was even stronger than Pauline, which hit Acapulco in the year of 1997, causing extensive damage and killing more than 300 people. This is a lot to process. A city that was once a symbol of luxury and nightlife is now facing a nightmare that seems to be recurring with greater force. What are they to do in the face of such rapidly changing weather patterns? It leaves me wondering, what can we all do to prepare for and respond to these increasingly powerful storms? These stories are a stark reminder of the fragility of our ecosystems and the devastating impacts of climate change. How are these events affecting you, dear audience? And what can we do together to mitigate these devastating events? Your thoughts, ideas, and experiences are vital in this conversation. So feel free to share them with us. And, as always, don't forget to share and like the hot topic in Fresh News. We appreciate your support. Now, let's continue with our coverage.
It's clear this situation is far from being resolved. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed and efforts are underway to restore communication with Acapulco and other affected areas.
Exactly. As we speak, the residents are grappling with the aftermath of the storm. It's a challenging situation, especially given the sudden and unexpected intensification of the hurricane.
Indeed, the evolving nature of this story is something we'll continue to follow. Our hearts go out to those affected by this disaster and we hope for a speedy recovery.
Yes, this is a story that's still developing. There's more to be revealed and understood. And while we wrap up today's broadcast, we promise to stay on top of this news and bring you the latest updates as they unfold.
And let's not forget, while we're safely reporting from our studios, there are people out there facing the harsh realities of these events. It's a sobering thought and one that reminds us of the importance of our work to bring these stories to light and provide accurate and timely information to our listeners.
And that wraps up today's episode of Hot Topic in Fresh News. We dove deep into the current events with a special focus on the crisis unfolding in Acapulco. We hope you found our analysis enlightening. We appreciate your time and attention. And of course, if you like what we do and want to keep up with the fast-paced world of news, remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your support and engagement are what make this undertaking worthwhile.
Absolutely, don't forget to toss in some comments. We'd love to hear what you think about these events. Make sure you share the podcast with your friends, family, and, well, anyone who's up for some quality news analysis. And, oh, if you're wondering, we're here every day, serving fresh news with a side of insight.
That's right. We are so grateful to have you as part of our listener community. We're looking forward to exploring more of the world's biggest stories with you in the next episode.
And remember, good news or bad news, we've got you covered. So, until next time, folks. Emily, Norma, and David together, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news. Our channel's content will amuse.